Hello again. Today we're going to start the third chapter of grade 10 math, solving linear systems. And we will be doing solving linear systems by graphing, and also we will be doing them algebraically. Today we're just going to focus on solving linear system by graphing. So solving linear systems by graphing is basically you have two straight lines, you have to graph them, find out where they meet. And that's the solution. The solution is where they meet, and that's what you're trying to find. And that's what solving linear systems by graphing means. Or solving linear systems in general mean that you're trying to find the point where the two lines that you graph meet. Okay, so here's the first one. We have 2x plus 8y equals 8, and negative 2x plus 8 equals 10. As in the last chapter, I showed you how to graph linear equations in standard form. This is called the standard form. So if we have 2x plus 8y equals 8, the best way to graph this is to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So when we're finding the x-intercept, what we do, we make y 0, because the x-intercept is the point on the x-axis, and on the x-axis, the y value is always 0. And that's why to find the x-intercept, all we need to do is just make y 0 in the equation and solve for x. And of course, if we make y 0 in the equation, then 8 times 0 is 0. So you could just ignore this part then and write 2x equals 8. And then solve for x by dividing both sides by 2. And then x will be 4. So you go and to where the x-axis is, and there's x equals 4 for the x-intercept. Now, how about the y-intercept? So the y-intercept is the point on the y-axis for this equation. And on the y-axis, always the x value is 0. So if you want to find the y-intercept then, and that works for all kind of graphs, not only linear equations, it's also for other equations that you're going to learn in the future. So the y-intercept, you make x 0. Of course, if we make x 0, then 2 times 0 is 0. So we might as well just ignore this part of the equation and write 8y equals 8, and then divide both sides by 8. By 8, we get y equals 1. And then you go to where y equals 1, and you plot a point. Okay. Now, when you have 2 points on the graph, you could tell what your slope is, because you know, here, to get from this point to this point, you're going down 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. So what you want to do then, you keep on doing that. So you go down 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So to get more points for more accurate graph. Or you could go up 1, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you keep in the same slope, and then you just graph this line. And this is the line for the equation. 2x plus 8y equals 8. Now, how about the equation, or the second equation, negative 2x plus y equals 10. This is not exactly in standard form, because if you remember from last chapter that I told you, when you're writing equations in standard form, always the coefficient of x should be positive. So, and here the coefficient of x is negative. But this is not what this lesson is all about. We're not going to change it into proper standard form. But we doing the same thing. We want to find the x-intercept for this one here, and the x-intercept, you make y 0. So if you make y 0, then you're left with negative 2x equals 10. Divide both sides by negative 2, and that will give you x equals negative 5. So you go to where x equals negative 5, which is here, and you plot your first point. Now, how about the y-intercept? So the y-intercept, you know, we make x 0. And if you make x 0, negative 2 times 0 is just going to be 0. So just ignore that part of the equation, and then you have the y-intercept is y equals 10. So you don't have, it's already solved. Y equals 10. So you go to where y equals 10, and that's right there. and you plot your point. Okay. Now, all you need to do, you don't even have to draw more points. And the reason is because these 2 points so far apart, then you don't need to draw other points. You should be able to get an accurate line just by connecting these 2 points. So what you do, you go there and you connect these 2 points right here. And that is the equation for negative 2x plus y equals 10. Of course, as we said, what we're after the solution for this. And the solution for this is going to be where the 2 lines meet, which is right here. And that's clearly, so the solution for this is -4 and 2, because this point is at -4 and 2. So the solution is -4 and 2. Okay. So we're going to do 2 more. And we're going to deal with equations not in standard form. So let's go to the next example. So here is the second question. And the second question, you have 2 graphs. Both of them are linear, which means that both of these will give you a straight line. And the first one is y equals -2x plus 1. Now, if you remember from last chapter, that this is written in the form y equals mx plus b, where b is the y-intercept and m is the slope. So again, b is the y-intercept and m is the slope. So 1 here represents b in the equation. So 1 is the y-intercept. So you just go and draw your y-intercept right here. And then your slope. So again, b equals -2/3. One. And m equals -2/3. So now from here, we're going to start walking the slope. The slope is -2/3. So if it's negative, you go down 1, 2, and to the right 1, 2, 3. Remember I said if the slope is negative, your line should be going down as you move from left to right. Okay, so you keep on doing that, down 2/3, down 2/3. Well, also you could go up from your y-intercept up 2/3 this way, up 2/3 this way, up 2/3 this way. As long as you're making sure that your line, as you move from left to right, it's going down to indicate that it's a negative slope, then you're good. So you either go down 2/3 or up 2 to the left 3. So down 2 to the right 3 or up 2 to the left 3. That's how a negative slope is. All right. Now, all you need to do is just connect these 2 points. Or sorry, connect all the points in here. So just go here and graph our first line right here. And the equation of this line, we'll just write it on top of it. So y equals -2/3 x plus 1. And now here's the second equation. Some students get stuck with this. They don't know how to go about it. It doesn't have any x in it. It only has y. And so they don't know what to do with it. This is very easy to graph. Why is it easy? So the first thing you want to do, you want to move the +3 to the other side. So when you move the +3 to the other side, this equation becomes y equals -3. So you could read this as y is always -3. Y is always -3. So how do we graph? If y is always -3, then what's the x value? We don't care about what the x value. We go to where y equals -3. So you could go anywhere where y equals -3. Let's say here, if you want to do a y-intercept, or you could go here, y is -3. Is here y equals -3? Is here y equals -3? So all along here, y is always -3. The x doesn't matter. And that's all you need to graph this line. It's a horizontal line. Straight through y equals -3. And what's the answer then? Or the solution? The solution, they meet right here. And therefore, my solution for this is the x value is 6, the y value is -3. So the solution is 6 and -3. Okay. We'll do one more, and then this is it for this lesson. So here's the last question. And the last question, what we have? We have y equals to x. What kind of form is this? This is a linear equation in slope-intercept form. So it's the same as the last one. It's in the form y equals mx plus b. Now you could argue there's no b here. Yes, b is 0. We don't write it. It's no point to writing b equals or plus 0 here. But we know b equals 0. And the slope m equals 2. And if you wish, you could put that over 1. Now, if the y-intercept is 0, you go where y is 0, and you go right there. And then the slope 2 over 1. So that's positive. That means you go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And you keep just on doing that, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And you could even go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1 if you want to have more points. Now, as you notice, this line should be moving up because if the slope is positive, as we move from left to right, as we go from left to right, the line should be moving up. And we're just going to graph this line. Yeah. Now we're going to go to the second line. The second line here is in standard form. Ax plus by equals c. That's what the standard form is. So when it's in standard form, like the first question, we find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. That's the easiest way to graph it. The x-intercept, you make sorry, I meant this to be y there. So the x-intercept, you make the y 0. So if y is 0, 2 times 0 is 0. So all of this becomes 0. So you're only left with 4x equals 12. And therefore, you divide both sides by 4 and you get x equals 3. Now, how about the y-intercept? The y-intercept, of course, you make the x 0. So if you make the x 0, what happens is that all of this disappears and you're left with -2y equals 12. Make sure you carry the negative because the negative is part of this. And therefore, now you divide both sides by -2 and you get y to equal -6. Now let's go plot my x-intercept, which is 3, and my y-intercept, which is -6. Okay. So now it seems like I'm going down, or from here I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1, 2, 3. So I could do the same thing, go up 6 and over 3. And I could go down from here 6 and over 3. And therefore now I'm going to graph this line. It goes like this. And we'll write the equation of each line on top of it. That's the proper way of doing it. So this is the 4x minus 2y equals 12. And this y equals 2x. And that's it. Now, as we notice, these are parallel lines. They're never going to meet. So we know, even after I drew this, if I look at this point and then maybe go for that point, it's going up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So it has the same slope as this line, and parallel lines Again, parallel lines, they have the same slope. And if you have parallel lines that having the same slope, they will never meet. Okay, unless they're right on top of one another, and then if they're on top of one another, then they'll always meet, and that we call that an infinite number of solutions. But when they have different y-intercepts and they're parallel, then the solution for this will be no solution because they never meet. Okay, and that's it for this lesson. We're just gonna keep it there. The next thing we're gonna go into solving linear systems. Same thing, trying to find where two lines meet, but algebraically. And algebraically, there's two methods. There's one, it's called elimination or subtraction and addition and subtraction. And the second method is solving linear systems by substitution. We'll explore both of these on the next lesson. And for now, have a great weekend. It's a beautiful Saturday out here. Don't forget, if you like this video, hit that like button, comment if you like, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. All of Math 10 will be covered in the next few months. We'll have the whole curriculum for Math 10 on this channel to help you understand the course better and go there and do really well in your course. I hope you get an A+. Till next time, bye-bye.